At its most basic level, there are two different kinds of works. There's popular fiction and literary fiction. The difference being, popular fiction tends to be more plot-oriented and about external things, where literary fiction tends to be more about the psychological development of characters. And in literary fiction, you will find most classics. Classics tend to be one of the hardest things for people to read because they're so outside of what is popular. So today what I'm going to do is tell you some of the tricks I have learned to make reading classics so much easier. Tip number 1. Make sure you're old enough to actually read the classic. This may seem like an odd kind of rule. So the example I would have is when I was 14, the second classic I tried to read was Nathaniel Hawthorne's The House of Seven Gables. And I hated it so much. Then as a junior in high school, I experienced Nathaniel Hawthorne for a second time with The Scarlet Letter, then again with The Ministers of Black Veil, and I liked all three of those works a lot. So I determined, basically when I started rereading The House of Seven Gables, that what had actually happened was that I wasn't quite ready for the level that Nathaniel Hawthorne was writing at when I was 14. Thus, I was not old enough to actually understand The House of Seven Gables. Number 2, don't be afraid to get an annotated version of the book, because annotations can be very helpful. Tip number 3, take reading the classics slowly. Maybe read only like a chapter a day or a chapter a week, and pair it off with 1 or 2 other books that you actually like reading. Because a lot of people like reading a book as fast as they possibly can, and with classics, that can get extremely boring really fast. Number 4, don't think of classic as a genre so much as an adjective to describe whatever genre the book is actually in. Because classic is a very broad term, don't think of Dracula as a classic, think of it as classic Gothic. Don't think of Pride and Prejudice as a classic, think of Pride and Prejudice as a classic romance. If you hate a specific genre, say horror, then you're not going to like Dracula, and you're not going to like Frankenstein, and it has nothing to do with the fact it's a classic and everything to do with the actual genre that it's in. Tip number 5, know the author. The inherent reason I say this is because you just won't like people's writing style. For example, I know that I won't like reading anything by John Steinbeck. And number 5 goes into number 6 with knowing the genre. Number 7, Cliff Notes, Spark Notes. This may seem like it's cheating or something, but classic novels can be a bit confusing because of the actual language they use. So read the Cliff Notes, see what other people think about it, and that will actually help you come to appreciate the novel a bit more. Number 8, get the abridged version. A lot of times the abridged versions aren't actually bad. They've taken out a lot of the stuff that would bore you and kept in the good stuff, so it reads a bit more like popular fiction as opposed to literary fiction. I know a lot of people like never an abridged version, but if you find that there's a classic that's actually too difficult, then you can make it easier to read. Is this tip number 9? Tip number 9. Let's go with it, why not? Read the book with other people. Tip number 10. Ask questions about the book and don't be afraid to annotate it. This, like, I know a lot of people would be like, oh, writing in a book, the horror, but as an English major in college, I can tell you, you get over that very quickly. Some people chose to use post-it notes. Number 11, I guess that's how you do it, is listen to it as an audiobook. You would be surprised how many books I would not have been able to get through had it not been for the audiobook. Wuthering Heights is one of them. There is a website known as LibriVox.org where they have actual audio recordings of a lot of works that are in the public domain, and you can actually listen to them for free. So I hope that this helped you. If you're someone who has trouble reading classic literature, I hope that this helped give you some tips that you could try to see if they will help you like classics a bit more than you might already. And until tomorrow, TTYL.